Hello, and welcome to the Kinepict Knowledge Base Podcast. I'm Szabolcs Osváth.
And I am Krisztián Szigeti.
We are the CEOs and co-founders here at Kinepict, and every month we are going to be welcoming guests from within lots of different aspects of medicine to talk with us about best practices and new innovations in the industry.
Today we are going to tell you all a little more about who we are and who we have started our journey.
This is our first podcast together with my colleague and friend Krisztián Szigeti, with whom we have started Kinepict. And we would like to let you know more about how we started and our goals and achievements in Kinepict.
I'm a biophysicist, and we are very proud to start this project, and we believe this will be the very interesting story in the next decade when we changed the angiography. Before we say this story, I think so we go back to the origin. When was the first idea when we think so and when we believe what will be the next story? Szabolcs, could you say something? What was the origin of the idea?
We both started as imaging experts. Krisztián worked in leading one of the preclinical imaging facilities at our university, the Semmelweis University at Budapest, Hungary. And I was working in microscopy image processing, looking for analysis, new ways to describe intracellular and cellular movements and their temporal behavior. And at a pizza discussion, having lunch together, we realized that this temporal analysis could have great importance in medical imaging. And then we systematically started to try and develop tools to analyze temporal changes in medical imaging. And one of the nicest fields we found was imaging the blood vessels, means X-ray angiography. Since here we have a movement by default, the movement of the blood and the movement of the bolus in the blood vessels.
The movement is important, but the blood vessel was a low-hanging fruit because the X-ray story is I think so the very important part in the medical practice. How could decrease the amount of X-ray and change the risk reduction of the patient and the staff.
That's right. We started quite far. We tried several things. Of course, we started with experiments on animals and visualizing their movements and physiological movements. And we found that we can see the heart, we can image the lungs, we can basically see a completely new type of image of every moving organ, gaining an information that was never seen before. Interpreting this information is not easy, though. So, as Krisztián said, we had to find the lowest hanging fruit, the application that could be easiest interpreted when we see this new type of image. And since the movement of the blood happens in the blood vessels only, then the new type of image that we gain by analyzing movements coincides with what people saw until now, the anatomical structure of the blood vessels. This is not the case for imaging the lungs, where we see so new type of information that it's difficult to interpret what we see for the healthy people, what we see in different conditions, and how we could use this for diagnosis of lung conditions. And we are working on that as well. But what's more important probably, and what we would like to tell you more about, is X-ray angiography and how we could give you here, by using our new technology, a much better tool for your everyday work.
When when we see that the contrast media goes through the blood vessel, it was very interesting because it's changing in the picture when change something, and we find that this field is and our technology could help for this picture, because it's the movement information is very, very helpful to increase the image quality, and it seems to be a very, very good part. Because if you back to the history and we find the origin of the X-ray imaging and we see the last ones, the last century, the background of the X-ray imaging is didn't change. Don't change the mathematical apparatus when how calculate the X-ray imaging, and we find that field because our mathematical methods drastically changed the background of the mathematics of the X-ray. I wouldn't like to say the technical details because it's a part of another discussion. Just I would like to say what was the background of this idea.
After we found this very exciting application field in interventional radiology, means visualizing blood vessels, we started several clinical validations to compare the image quality of our image that we call digital variance angiography, to show that here there's a more deep statistical analysis involved than just a simple subtraction, which is done in digital subtraction angiography. And these clinical validation studies proved a very big quality advantage of DVA compared to DSA imaging. This improved image quality could be used directly in some fields, like in embolizations. There's a need to see the finest details of the blood vessel structures. In this case, we can just enjoy the increased image quality. In other cases, the digital subtraction angiography provides enough image quality by default. And in this case, the extra image quality that we produce could be viewed as a surplus. We can sacrifice this surplus quality to reduce, for example, the X radiation dose. We know that if we reduce X-ray dose, then the image quality deteriorates. But having this surplus, which is provided by our mathematical analysis tools, could be sacrificed. And one study shows that, for example, using 1/3 of the X radiation that's used for the DSA could provide enough good image quality, the same image quality as DSA, if different mathematical tool is used, means our digital variance angiography.
I have never forgotten when was the first booth on SIRS in 3 years ago, and the doctors see these pictures. We show the very good image quality, and the doctors see that it is very strange and very good image quality. It's sure that it's the Photoshop technology, and it was very long, very short time. Okay, it's no problem. Just please give for me your pictures and send back for you the post-processed image. And it was very strange answer when we sent back to the big, very good pictures, and the doctors say, "Oh, it's very perfect. We believe it. It's very good." And after it was it's a very, very good question when we see this feedback. And I think so. Another important part, we believe the mission of the company is we reduce the X-ray dose 10 times lower. is a very, very huge step for the X-ray intervention. Because if we see the last 2 decades by 20% per 10 years. And when we show that mission, it's just see it's impossible to reduce 10 times lower.
So as we said, the clinical studies indicated that we could develop some very nice image analysis tools. This is not only about improving image quality, but we can go even deeper and help you understand and analyze the blood flow stream in the blood vessels in a more detailed way. So we built our technologies into a product, the Kinepict medical imaging tool, which is available, is CE marked, is FDA approved for the use in the operating room. We constantly improve and add new features, new algorithms, and new technologies to this software tool. Thank you to all our listeners for joining us today. We hope you have enjoyed today's session. As always, if anyone has any questions, thoughts, or comments about the things we have discussed in today's podcast, be sure to get in touch with us. Looking forward to catching you all next time when we welcome another inspirational guest to the Kinepict Knowledge Base Podcast.